This was an emergency.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to wait just a minute or two until we see that everybody is here, and then we'll start. Okay. Minute or two. 8.
It's air, this place. Air comes on in the afternoon. That's not a thermostat over there, is it? But I guess we can't control it.
No,
No chance.
Yeah, I know.
it's wishful thinking. I use having them.
Did it just get you from? But I thought you were stuck.
Okay, let's get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to the inaugural edition of the Chest Administration's Office of Office Hours. We plan to have monthly office hours, except for June. We know we're not going to have one in June, and maybe not in August. In June, we have the DTC review meeting, and that'll take the place of office hours because, of course, you can ask questions at that time if you have any. In August, we have a new DTC orientation. And after the new DTC orientation, we usually, we always send out updates. And so everyone will receive those updates. A couple of announcements. The format for most of the meetings will be one presentation or perhaps two presentations followed by question and answer session. So please hold your questions until the chat session, till the QA session begins in about 15 or 20 minutes. Then we'll have somebody to read those questions off and we'll answer them if we can. And if we cannot answer them, we'll get back with you. We'll either send out a message to everyone or send it to the person that asked us the question. Please don't use AI to record or capture or share any of today's content. We are recording this and it will be posted to the website. So if you want to review it, you can go there and review the recording. Let's see. The test administration group consists of all the program managers for the assessment programs, and that also includes the specialty or the job functions that are closely related, like accommodations and test security. Now, all the program managers are not here today, and probably won't be every time. So if you have a question for someone that's not here, we will make sure that they get the question and that question is answered and sent to everyone. So let's briefly introduce ourselves so you know who we are. I'm Susan Creighton. I'm the team lead for test administration. We're going to go around the table so you know who is here and what they do. They'll just briefly tell you which programs they run. And then we're going to have 2 short presentations. Leslie, I'll pass it to you.
I'm Leslie Dawes, and I handle the grade 10 test, PSAT, and free ACT, and the reimbursements for the IB and Cambridge exams.
Hey, I'm Dan Publicover. I am the accommodations program manager and then help out with anything testing students with disabilities related.
I'm Crystal Huckabee. I am the program manager for SC Ready.
Hi, I'm Roberta Turner Ford, and I manage the SC Auto assessment. And hey, Don, we just got you emailing back and forth.
Hi, I'm Victoria Tanaka, and I'm a psychometrician in the Office of Assessment and Standards.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Hurrell, and I manage the end of course test program. And should I go ahead? I have the first presentation, so I'm going to plug in my laptop, hopefully share my screen with you. Can you all see that? Yes, okay. All right, so we are just giving a couple of short presentations for each of these office hour periods. So I thought what I would talk about today and take questions if you have it, because I always get questions about this, is how to code certain special ed students who are not enrolled in a traditional gen ed curriculum that leads to a South Carolina high school diploma. So these would be students who do not qualify for SC Alt, but they're also not enrolled in the regular ed courses that award credit and lead to a diploma. So for these students, you do not use regular course codes. So in PowerSchool, you're not going to code them with the codes that are associated with the regular ed courses. So you use a set of special codes that we've created that are all their only purpose in life. The only reason they exist is to get those students placed onto rosters in DRC's Insight portal. These codes do not include US history. I get asked that question a lot. There is some talk about creating a US history code, but these students aren't required to take the US history end of course. So as of today, as far as I know, the only tests we're talking about is Algebra 1, Biology 1, and English 2. So here are the codes for those courses. And you can see there's the 2 underscores where the spaces are. I don't have that. Is for district defined parts of the code. And then it's required to have a 0, 0 in the 7th and 8th position. That's how the system knows not to award credit for these codes. And this is how it appears in the rostering guide. And I guess that website that I can't remember the name of that has replaced the activity code manual has these codes associated with those courses. Not courses, tests. Sorry, that's why I put does not code for a course, because let me go to my next slide because I think I explained that. Okay, so a few pointers to remember about coding these students. The IEP team determines when this group of students would be scheduled to take the required end of course tests. So let's say you have a first year special ed student. The IEP team says, I think this student will be ready the end of their second year of high school. So then that's when you would code them for whatever tests they're being scheduled to take. And again, the required tests are only Algebra 1, Biology 1, and English 2. Something important to remember that I think confuses a lot of people is these rostering codes are not connected to any course, including the courses that count towards the employability certificate. They're a completely separate entity. These codes are only to get the kids placed onto a roster so they have a test ticket and can be tested. But what's a little confusing about that is that they will show on a student's course schedule as an extra course. So let's say they're enrolled in Essentials of English as in this employability certificate courses. You'll have that course on their schedule, and then there would be a second code in the semester that they're scheduled to take the end of course test that would just represent the test. I think that's. So now I could take a few questions. I put some contact information on here. You can call or email us anytime to ask that or any other questions. So my contact information is at the top there. And I also added Dan's because he has some experience with this and knows certainly a lot about assessing SPED students. So are there any questions? You all must be experienced and know what you're doing. Okay, well,
Great.
I guess I'll.
I
That's
do
it,
have
everyone.
one.
Oh,
There it is.
mhm.
So in the rostering manual, the course codes, if I'm reading it differently, on page 10 are different than the course codes that are on the presentation.
I don't have the rostering manual. What are the,
So
are you
it
sure you're not
says
talking
for,
about the SC alt codes?
yeah, so those are different codes than these.
Yeah, that is SC alt. It's a completely different animal.
I'm with you. Thank you. I'm with you now.
Okay.
Sorry.
There's a question in the corner.
Oh.
Will we have any students not tested deductions for students who do not take US history and Constitution?
No one has told me, I can't answer accountability questions. I don't really know, but the federal government doesn't require a social studies test. So as long as I've been doing this, the US history and of course test is only administered to students that are enrolled in a gen ed US history course. It's a diploma requirement. And if you go back to the original memos that designated the end of course test as the test that would meet federal accountability requirements, there is no mention anywhere ever of US history.
Elizabeth, you know that there's students not tested guidelines that come out every year. So I don't know how much they're going to be changed for this year, but you can always refer to the students not tested guidelines from last year. And I'll be glad to send you a copy of that if you need it.
And one other clarification, students who take the SC Alt assessment do take a U.S. History and Constitution assessment for the SC Alt assessment.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we have another short presentation for you.
I'll good. I actually don't. You can turn off the slideshow, but I don't have a slide. I am going to send a link in the chat to our special circumstance request form. So I am new to this role. I came in November, but I believe that this document or this online form was created a little bit before I got here. So I'm not sure how much it was used last year whenever I've been reviewing the old special circumstance request just to get used to it or just to get familiar with what's going on in there. So I wanted everyone to see it to kind of understand it and then talk about what that form is and why we use it. So first off, this special circumstance request form would be for any accommodation that your team felt was necessary for an individual with a disability taking EOC or SC Ready that isn't listed in the TAM. So there are some requests I've gotten that are kind of in the TAM. Maybe it's pretty close, but we want to make sure that this fits the guidelines. You're welcome to email me first and we can kind of hash it out and say, actually, that is covered or is not. But if it is something that is not the TAM, then you would use this form. This form is used to submit eligibility information and IEP information to see if the request would impact the validity of the test. So it is not our job to say, yes, that student does need it or doesn't need it. You, your teachers, your schools know these students best. It is our job to see, would this accommodation impact the validity of our assessment and would it be allowable? From there, we would provide guidance of, if this is allowable, how would we provide it in a test setting? What other accommodations would you need to partner it with? What would you need to make sure to take into consideration as well? And it's also very important, that's why we're kind of bringing it up in February, to get these in early. So if it is something that would impact the test validity, we would have time to adjust it, because we obviously want our accommodations to look just like our day-to-day instruction. We want our students using these accommodations all year long. So when it comes test day, they're very familiar with that testing environment. So if possible, we'd love to get these requests in soon so we can review them and tell you if it's allowable or if it wouldn't be allowed, so that the school has plenty of time to work with that student and make sure that their testing environment is something that they've practiced for several months prior to the tests at the end of the semester, for in EOC's case, in that window. So hopefully this form is pretty easy to navigate. There is a space for that justification. So including, where do we locate this? Electronic form. So this is also on the accommodations page on our website. So if you go to the ed.sc.gov and search accommodations, it'll be listed right there towards the bottom. And this comes directly to me, so I can see all of the documents you include. So please, if possible, any documentation is great. Psychological evaluations I'll look at, eligibility information, revals, IEPs. I do ask that they are the most current and relevant. Every now and then I'll look at a document from 2018, which might have some good info, but maybe not the most up-to-date info. So if you could, just make sure to include that as well. Be super appreciative. Any questions about special circumstance form? I guess not specifics, because it kind of depends on your own individual kid. Amy, I see you raised your hand.
Yes, Dan, I do have a question. And so the question was asked just a second ago, where did we find this? And I wanted to ask about it being mentioned in the TAM, because I don't see any mention of this form stack in the end of course TAM from first semester that I'm looking at. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, that form stack is new. Well, it had been kind of sitting out there unfinished. And then when I did the fall TAM, we didn't have anyone in Dan's position. So I had to kind of make it vague, because I knew we would soon be having someone in Dan's position. And I think the spring, I think the spring TAM does link to the form stack.
It should be in the updated
Yeah.
TAM. I went through and tried to include that. And it's that same link that I included there, which I acknowledge that on a piece of paper, a very long email or a very long web address doesn't do much good. But it should be listed to provide it also electronically if that's easiest for you. You also still have the option to fax it in or send it in secure as you had done previously. I'm fine with that. This is just so much easier pulling documents off EdPlan directly, click save, send.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if it wasn't in one of the spring TAMs, if we could get that added for next year, so that.
I think it's in the spring end of course TAM. I've had Dan
And I'll double check.
over it.
I appreciate that. Not a problem.
That'll be perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. I appreciate it. This is a fun aspect of this role, because you get to see the uniqueness of the state and how schools are approaching accommodation. So I always like going back through and reading the whole thing. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Hector Spring TAM for SC Ready. I appreciate that.
Other than a few announcements, that's the only planned presentations we have for today. But you have questions regarding any assessment program or any topic, we'd be glad to answer if we can.
Did Tammy have a question? Thought I saw her hand up.
Yes, hi, everyone. So, for SC Alt in Tide, are we able to remove students that have moved or, let's say, passed away? Are we able to remove those students at the district level?
Yes, the DTC or either the DTC or the teacher, if the teacher, the TA, whoever puts the students in to enroll them into the Tide, you can remove them definitely. If they are not testing on the SEL assessment in this testing window, they should come out of the Tide because that throws off our students test, our percent completion rate. So if they're not testing and they're not in your district, you definitely want to take them out of the Tide because if they go to another district, they'll be in the Tide. They should be entered there, but they shouldn't be in the Tide in two different districts. And if they're, not enrolled or whatever, yes, they should come out the Tide. If y'all decide that they're going to take the gen ed assessment, please take them off of the Tide, out of the Tide.
Okay, and a follow-up question for that then is, I read where we need to, when we add students, before we add students in there, that we have to get state approval. Is that simply an email saying we need these students added and emailed to you, or what is that process?
Okay, any students that you add starting January 3rd from now through till we start testing, yes, you have to send those to me and I will review them and then I'll let you know what additional information I need.
Okay, thank you.
So is that an email to you?
Yes, they email me directly just with the SSID number. Do not send me like a student name in the email. Just the 10-digit SSID number, not that 4 or 5 or 6-digit number, because I don't have any access to that. But you send me that, and then I will let you know what I need. But because I may need the IEP and the reevaluation and the appendix A and B. But I will let you know what I need.
Okay, thank you.
That email. Uh-huh.
Read out some of these questions that are coming through.
There's one more. Sure.
So this question says, all materials are being ordered through DRC for SE Ready and EOC.
For end of course, all paper materials are ordered only through DRC's portal. However, it is very useful to code your paper testers in, I'm going to say pre-code, although I'm never sure whether I should call it something else at this point, because if they are checked as a paper tester, DRC will create a paper transcription ticket for that student so that when you go to transcribe the print answer or student responses, you'll have the right ticket to get into that part of the test. And SC Ready almost.
Yeah, SC Ready as well is ordering through DRC.
Did your answer Dawn's question too?
I didn't see.
Remove students in Tide for which we have received a documented parent refusal form.
If they are not testing in the SEL assessment, remove them from the Tide.
There's a question here about SC Ready mixed mode. Is the only place we need to mark Empower School on the pre-code tab of the SC student information page, just the elementary middle paper ELA.
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'll follow up on that and then reach back out to you, and that's Stephen.
Where
right?
is it? I don't see.
It was a little bit further up.
Yeah.
See the 20%.
I have to have it written
Sure.
instead of
Just to be clear.
I see it. So the next question on there, I can answer where it's Elizabeth, or no, I think
Yes,
I can't read whose name it is. Just to be clear, the SPED student scores will not count as 20% since the course numbers only used to roster the students in the program to take the test based on the IEP. So just to kind of clarify that, also I hesitate to use the word SPED because there's plenty of kids in Gen Ed who have IEPs and take these regular tests. So you have to specify, these are the students that do not qualify for ALT, but they're also not enrolled in programs that lead to a high school diploma.
Yeah.
They are not, their scores are not, do not count 20% towards their grades, if they have grades. And there is, that is in writing. If you want me to send you the memo where it's in writing, you can send me an email and I'll send it to you. But also, that has nothing to do with the course codes. You know, the 20% gets added by the school, by the teacher. So, yes, your question about those codes would not, all those codes do is put the kid on a roster in DRC system. They have no other purpose.
Roberta, yes. To the employability credential students.
Yeah,
I mean,
I typed that.
Oh, you wrote.
Yeah, I typed that. I was trying to answer. You want me to answer it out loud?
yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, Elizabeth asked a question about the, she had a mix up between employability credential students and SCR students. And it's just like, what Kirsten said, credential students aren't required by the federal government because federal government doesn't require science, but the
Studies.
social studies, but for U.S. History and Constitution, but the students who take the SCR assessment, they are required to take the Algebra 1, English 2, Biology 1, and U.S. History and Constitution SC Alt assessments. SC Alt assessments. And that U.S. History and Constitution should be given their third year of high school.
There's a coding question here about mixed mode. How are we coding for mixed mode? I'm assuming. Okay.
Oh, you did?
On page 22 of the assessment rostering guide, it says that all students testing with paper, including students with mixed mode ELA testing in grades 3 and 4, are coded with a check in the paper checkbox for all applicable subjects. And I'll put that in the chat too.
did y'all hear that?
Yes. Also, shout out to Stephen for thanks for helping with that one too. I see your response there.
So the next one. So is the next one are students required to complete all EOC EP assessments by the third year? That one I might have to get back to you on because now that they've changed the accountability model so that end of course is that in the current year, it's not the longitudinal sample that they were using in the past. I'm not sure that third year language is still there. I will check the accountability manual and respond to that question.
But it is for the SCR assessment. They should have those taken by their third year of high school for the SCR.
That's what it used to say for end of course, but they've changed those pages and I don't want to say without checking to see exactly what they say.
Awesome. And there's a link to the updated pre-code guide.
Rostering,
Yes.
no pre-code anymore.
No pre-code. And I'm new. Sorry.
If anybody where did you see that?
It's the bottom comment.
Okay, it's not called the pre-code guide anymore. It's the rostering guide. So. Oh, okay. Just so you know.
But Susan, it does still have pre-code in the content of the manual.
Yes, it does. For a while longer until they get Ed5 completely up and running.
I'm not even going to make a comment on that. But
I know, believe me, we make enough comments among ourselves here for you. It's getting better, slowly getting better. Any other questions for us today? Well, a couple of announcements. Let's see, you should be receiving your SE Ready TAMs and brochures this week. Has anybody already gotten theirs? Yep, you do. All right, very good. The SE Ready end of course pretest webinar is March the 5th at 10. Just as a reminder, DTCs are required to attend. If you can't attend that day at that time, send me an email and give me your reason. We can schedule you for training with a recording. Just in case you haven't entered your test schedule into the, I don't know if they're using FormStack or what, but it was extended through today for a couple of districts who had yesterday off and needed another day. So if you haven't put your schedule in there, you can do so right after this call. And another thing that's happening this month is the Beacon webinar. It's on February the 25th. And it'll be somewhat similar to past informational webinars, except that they're going to primarily talk about what's happening for next school year, which is the customization of Beacon. The new items should be 100% aligned with our new standards. And they're adding early years to Beacon, and they're going to tell you a little bit about that particular aspect of the test. So join us if you're interested in maybe administering Beacon in the next school year.
I got one. No.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna add on to what Susan said, that just that the, and of course, spring TAMs should be delivered the 24th, February 24th, Monday. And then the next day, the 25th, is when the additional materials window opens. So if you need to order more TAMs, you can go in and order them on that date. And then the other announcements would be the same for those for SC Ready.
For the SCR, just a reminder that the learning characteristics inventory window opened on February 10th. So the test administrators can begin entering the learning characteristics inventory information for each of their students who are taking the SCR assessment. So that when it's time for the test window to open on March 3rd, they will already have that portion completed. And I have not received any no mode of communication requests yet. And all of those are due to me by March 8th.
Two questions just came through. The first one is about Beacon. Can we administer Beacon for K2 and still use iReady for 3.8 for the interim?
Yes, you can.
And then the second one is, when will the formative RFP be finalized?
I wish I knew. We sent the RFP to procurement in November and it's still sitting there. It hasn't left the building. So I'll have to update you on that. I've asked the administration what they're going to do about this situation, since there's no way we can get an RFP out and select 5 tests or fewer and let y'all know before the beginning of school. So I imagine we're just going to have to use the same test that we're using now, but that's not official because I haven't received word from the administration yet as to what we're going to do about that. I know that puts y'all in a hard spot, and I apologize for that, but it's beyond our control at this point. So if you need to go ahead and sign a contract, I'd look for whatever you've been doing in the past. Or Beacon, which is always, but they're on the adoption list now, so they're also an acceptable test to administer for the interim law. Any other questions? Well, thank y'all for attending. It's so good to see so many faces and hear the concerns that you have, and hopefully you'll come back in March the 18th. And I think Roberta's going to present. I've forgotten who else is scheduled to present, but we'll have probably 2 presentations in March, followed by a time to answer questions. Thank you and goodbye. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.